Now, joining us for the rest of the hour, we'll take calls coming up in about 25, 30 minutes. 800-259-9231 is Rosa Koire. ASA is the executive director of the Post-Sustainability Institute. She's a commercial real estate appraiser specializing in eminent domain valuation. That's how she learned it was Agenda 21. Her nearly 30 years of expert witness analyzing land use and property value in her position as San Francisco District Branch Chief of the California Department of Transportation enabled her to recognize the planning revolution sweeping the country. She was on the inside and saw it. While fighting to stop a huge redevelopment project in her city, she researched the corporate, political, financial interests behind it and found UN Agenda 21 impacting every aspect of our lives. UN Agenda 21, sustainable development, is a corporate manipulation using green mask of environmental concern to forward a globalist plan. Rosa speaks across the nation, including recently at the International Conference of Global Governance that included President Václav Klaus of the Czech Republic, Prime Minister John Howard of Australia. She's a regular blogger on her website, DemocratsAgainstUNAgenda21.com. Good to see it's bipartisan. Her new book, Behind the Green Mask, Agenda 21, is available at Infowars.com and on her site. Okay, we go to her now. Intro there. What is Agenda 21 for new listeners? Why is it important? And what are the new big developments? I mean, is it safe to say the battle is joined right now, Rosa?
You said it. I'm actually coming back from an East Coast tour, and I want you to know that the resistance is in gear, and people are out there fighting all over the United States and across the world. So this is a very engaged fight, and we are going to win this. For people who don't know what Agenda 21 is, it's basically, it's not what is Agenda 21, it's almost what isn't. And you're going to look long and hard to find anything now that isn't Agenda 21. It is the blueprint. It is the action plan to inventory and control all land, all water, all plants, all minerals, all construction, all animals, all means of production, all energy, all information, and all human beings in the world. It is a completely comprehensive plan. It's global, and it's implemented locally. And that is where you're going to see it in your town, right there in your town. It is in every single town all across the United States and the world right now.
And there you were working inside as the district branch chief of the California Department of Transportation. That's how you were first able to recognize this yourself from the inside. But, you know, you're a Democrat. You're somebody who's liberal on many issues. I like that fact because this isn't about Republican, Democrat, where certain groups own certain areas. And I love how these so-called democratic institutions always say there's no global governance, there's no world government, there's no corporatist takeover, it's code for race or all this stuff. When the banks are publicly writing this, admitting this is their takeover plan, and then Democrats hear it and they automatically won't respond. I mean, a lot of Republicans won't because, oh, that's that crazy stuff, when it's really what's happening. It has nothing to do with Republican, Democrat, or, stuff like that. In fact, I saw an article, saying Democrat lesbian feminist draws cheers at Tea Party. When a Democrat lesbian feminist receives wild applause at Tea Party meeting, talking about you, something newsworthy must be happening, speaking to a packed crowd. Look, it isn't about what somebody does in their bedroom. It's about a global corporate takeover of America.
That's exactly right. We have to break that right-left gang mentality because we're really being manipulated. This is not, I'm a Democrat. I've actually been attacked and vilified by Democrats and by Democratic Central Committees around the United States. The fact is, what are they going to do? Purge me from the party and burn my party card just because I'm questioning what's going on? Because unfortunately, this is being accepted a lot by the left. But it's partly because they don't understand that when they're looking at globalization, when they're looking at WTO, GMO, food independence, great, university debt, school debt, degree inflation, the 1%, domestic surveillance, fusion centers, endless war. This is all Agenda 21.
That's right. Stay there. It's a corporate agenda that transcends party, all of this stuff. This is attacking everyone. We'll be right back with Rosa Koire. Stay with us. They created Al-Qaeda. They funded radical Muslims, and that's the boogeyman of all those countries the globalists are invading that we're told to be scared of, and that's why the checkpoints are everywhere, that Oh, the internal training manuals say are for us, people that are anti-UN, anti-world government. Agenda 21, they tell the cops that's a code word. If you hear that, that's a cop killer term. Or if you hear somebody talk about posse comitatus, that's a cop killer term. We've shown you the training manuals here on air. So the cop doesn't know what Agenda 21 is. They just hear that and they go, you want to kill me. This is how they manipulate everybody. So that as they take over, people have already been demonized that are smart enough to know what's coming. But again, what does the UN say? What does Maurice Strong say? What do they all say? Economies are too big. Their job is to shut them down. This is the new economy, where they all live in lavish palaces, though. Remember, you live like a slave. Rosa Koire is a researcher and developer, and she also worked in the state government at the highest levels when she discovered this was going on. I've been talking about it since the early mid-1990s. A lot of people have, but nobody knew what it was. Now, because it's really coming into effect, people are getting upset. So Rosa, author of Behind the Green Mask book, Agenda 21, break down other facets, where it's being implemented, examples, and the type of awakening you're seeing, and other areas people should be made aware of. The big UN conference they just had down in Brazil. Rosa Koire.
Wow, well, that's saying a lot. There's a lot to talk about here, and I want people to know that this is war, that there is an occupying force across the world that has taken us over, and we are waking up. There's a tremendous resistance all across the world, and I want you to know that you are not alone. People are taking over and dominating government meetings now. They are going in, we are going in as groups, as coalitions of groups that you would never see ordinarily. Groups of people on the left and the right who are laying aside their petty differences and taking back our sovereignty all across the world. I was speaking at an international global governance conference, and one of the other speakers was President Václav Klaus of the Czech Republic. And he said to me, you know what, we fought to get our independence from the Soviet Union, and now we are under the thrall of Brussels. We are under control of the EU. We have lost our sovereignty. We don't want that here in the United States. We want to encourage all people who want to be free to be free. So here's what happens. This is a global plan implemented locally. What you want to do is take back your government. This is a regional government that is being imposed through planning. They are telling you that if you want to be able to compete regionally in an economic sense, that you have to join with other cities, counties, and states, and you have to erase your jurisdictional boundaries. This is a lie. This is a way to take control of your government by mega corporations and non-profit, non-governmental groups that will then control what happens locally by using money. They use federal dollars, and you know this was a plan that came down, top down, through the President's Council on Sustainable Development, right into every federal agency in the United States back in 1993. And they all changed their policies, their administrative policies, and they are using money. They're using grants, and they're using restrictions on transportation dollars to control what happens in your town. So if your town wants any of that money, they're going to have to play ball. And that means build smart growth. And smart growth is your future hardscape for your poverty. This is high-density urban development with no possibility for you to move freely or determine where you're going to live and work. So what you want to do is fight this. Fight it together with everyone you can get. So what you want to do, go down to those meetings where they say, come on down to your Vision 2035 plan meeting, or come on down to your Scenic Byway meeting. We want to see what you think. Because the truth is, they don't want to know what you think. They merely want to give the impression that they're getting your opinion so that they can impose these restrictions on you and say that it was your plan. That is a lie. What you want to do is go down there and take over those meetings. You can do it. You want to recall elected officials who are on those regional boards. These are metropolitan planning organizations and councils of government. You want to get rid of those groups. You want to go down, recall those people. You want to do it in a group. It's very easy to recall an elected official. You can do it. Put that in with your town, recall, and then your city or county, and see what comes up. There's forms online that you can use. You can use our flyers to let people know what ICLEI is. You want to raise awareness. Awareness is the first step in the resistance. Action is the second step. We are fighting back all across the United States and all across the world. Alabama has passed SB 477, which is the Property Rights Due Process Act, which says that no law can be made that imposes Agenda 21 in the state of Alabama, and that no money can go to ICLEI or any other nonprofit organization that is imposing Agenda 21 on the people of the state of Alabama. Let's make these laws come all the way across the United States. Yes, they'll be litigated, but we will be there supporting. We want to fight back, and we can do it. We will win this.
Rosa Koire, she is the author of Behind the Green Mask, UN Agenda 21. And as you notice, she's pointed and focused like a laser beam. Her book is as well. Get it out to everyone you know, because this is so outrageous what they're doing. I've been to smart growth conferences, and they admit it's about money and power grabs, and they admit that the insiders are exempt. I mean, I've watched Austin, which is one of the worst places in the country. It's a wonderful place to live, but we've allowed these fake liberals to take over, and they've also got the fake conservatives up there with them, and they will go and take a family's 5,000-acre ranch that they've had for 100 years. I have these people on the show, and take it and pay them maybe 5 cents on the dollar. They waited 6-7 years, took the restrictions off, and the city said, oh, it's not going to be a preserve now. It's going to be malls and high-density living. But it's okay because we're making it high-density living. The point is they stole the land. And all over the country, they are coming in and saying, we're going to bulldoze your neighborhood on this lake. It's for the earth. And then turning around and turning it into a high-rise development. And they know it. It's not like your city council in most cases of a big city is unconscious. They are financed, normally realtors, normally developers. And then they call themselves environmentalists, and all they're going to do is steal your land. And they hire these green cops who don't care about GMO or toxic waste dumping or University of Texas burying toxic waste on the edge of Austin. No. Real issues like Fukushima are no bit. Overfishing, not a problem. It's all about home inspectors in your face, taking over your life. Department of Defense over the rural commission now. It's all about spying on you. It is pure authoritarianism, just as you said, Rosa. Conscious, systematic takeover using fines and fees to bankrupt you. I mean, I know you see the reports of the lemonade stands, the Amish, the people selling, pumpkins on the side of the road getting arrested. And even Forbes asked a few months ago, what's the war about on the Amish or on the lemonade stands? And they've said, we don't want you using cash for garage sales. We're going to shut those down. It's happening, just like what we've seen with healthcare, written by the insurance companies, coming in and making you buy it so the insurance companies can now control the care, but claiming it's socialism when it's something completely different.
Mm-hmm. Everyone has to remember, this is an inventory and control plan. So when you find out that, for instance, they're inventorying every single tree in the state of New Hampshire, if anyone's ever flown over New Hampshire, that's all they've got there is trees. The idea that this is a micro plan where they go, we're talking about drones, domestic surveillance, National Defense Authorization Act, USA Patriot Act. We're talking about control of us and every single thing on this planet. And in order to control, you have to inventory. And we are in the inventory phase right now, primarily, although we're moving into control. And that's why people are beginning to recognize that something is really happening. Because when you go, when you're trying to get a permit to build on your property, and you find out, for instance, that you have a wetland there that you had no idea was there, and you're going to have to pay a $37,000 fine every day because of that supposed wetland. That's what happened to the Sackett family of Idaho. And they fought. It went all the way to the Supreme Court. Your federal government fought them all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, where they won. But what did they win? The right to challenge the EPA. So, we are in a situation now where every single person is beginning to feel the pinch where we're all feeling as if we are under scrutiny. We're noticing that, for instance, if you don't mow your lawn, it's a misdemeanor. You're finding that there are more and more things that are crime, more and more things that you can be held accountable for. And what that means is there are going to be more and more people who will go along to get along, either because they are forced to, because they want to be the good guy, pat on the back, little, insider toady shill with the government, or somebody who just, is too stupid to recognize that they shouldn't be enforcing.
Or they're making money off of it. I want to go to calls.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's talk about that. There are a lot of people. There are partners. Your government is partnering with nonprofits and corporations. Your government, the EPA, is in 501c3 charitable organizations, literally a partner with, for instance, the American Planning Association, a private corporation, with ICLEI, with the American Farmland Trust, with Walmart, with special interest groups. And you are paying for this. And you are unable to make an impact unless you take this over. We have been asleep too long.
Look, it's very simple. I've seen the cases all over the country where the feds just show up and say, you've had Gore seafood on the South Texas coast for 70 years. We just say you can't have it anymore. We're taking it. No money. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's getting so brazen now where these mega corporations just want to take whatever they want through government. And the crimes are just mounting. I want to go to some phone calls. Let's jam in a call. David in California, you're on the air. Do you have a question for the guest?
I do have a question. I was at our city council last night.
Good.
One of the corporations that they're building the stack and pack housing, they actually appointed the director of it to our planning commission. Only 2 people in the city showed up to contest it. I moved from Los Angeles, Lancaster, California. I was running away from this stuff. They're stealing land left or right, and the control grid is already in place there. They also went over the plans of the new security systems downtown. My question is, how do you stand up to these people just by yourself?
Well, they're total criminals, but go ahead.
It's tough. You can do it, though, and you are doing it. You went. You were there. Now, here's what you do next. You get out, go to your computer, and you make up a flyer. We've got flyer examples on our website, which is democratsagainstUNagenda21.com, and also in my book. If you want to make up flyers, I know this sounds like it's not going to work.
No, it works. Listen, you battle, then more people will join you, and then you go into the next phase.
Yes, and you want to raise awareness. This is what your job is now. You are in the resistance. Your job is to bring awareness out there to your town. Get a flyer out there, make it look official, notice this is going on in our town. Get out there, put those flyers on doorsteps, get more and more people to go to those meetings. You want to bring them down by telling them that we will not stand.
And by the way, we're beating them all over the place if we'll just resist them, because it's so, just like he said, the head of the local building operation that's getting taxpayer money is putting their people on the board. I mean, that's all. It's, look, conflict of interest, all of this, defeat them.
You want to expose the collaborators.
I like your nomenclature. That's it. You are the resistance. Expose the collaborators. Incredible. I tell you, I'm sorry to all the other callers. We'll have to have you back up very soon. This hour has now elapsed. Thank you, Rosa Koire. The book available at InfoWarsShop.com. Get it. Get it out to everybody in your area. Expose the collaborators.